The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Whether you're new to sales or a lifetime veteran, the Blackbelt Sales Podcast will sharpen your sword and guide you to master the art of sales. And now, here's your host, the ninja himself, Gene Slade.
All right, cool. So we're back. And this morning we were actually dealing with this issue, weren't we, Don, inside of our mastermind?
Yes.
Tell us what the scenario was.
Well, this scenario was Comfort Advisor, really the CSR, 22-year-old in the office, was really running the schedule and really making the decisions based on how they liked or disliked someone, not for the company or best for the tech or best for even the customer. So that's what the story was, is that manipulating the schedule or taking the good calls off of me and putting them on someone else. We hear that story all the time, that's the complaint. And it's just the season. It's just difficult time. And sometimes there's some validity. This sounded like there was some true validity to this situation where it was being done to force control or to show the dominance. How do we handle that, Gene? I know you've been in a company. I've had CSRs and 50, 60, 70 employees. This happens, and this complaint happens a lot. So
yeah, and we're not just talking about a Comfort Advisor that's doing $1 million a year, right? We're not talking about just a guy who's a complainer. This guy's a $4 million a year technician. And over the last month and a half, 2 months, he's just watched everything start to go downhill. And it seems to be centering around this one CSR who gets to decide where he goes. He even said that he was on his way to a call and it looked like it was going to be a pretty good call. And then he gets a message from her to refresh his Service Titan. And when he refreshes it, he's going to a 2-year-old, right? So some of the ways, so I was writing down a couple of notes while the guy was talking. And so some of the ways that I've handled this in the past, you may not have handled it the same way, Don, but I'm going to give everybody maybe 3 ways. But I'm going to give you the first way now, and then I'm going to run a quick video for you to show you guys some of the things that are going on right now. It's a short video, and then we'll come back and we'll give you the other ones. But bottom line, it sounded like this girl really did have it out for him. And I don't know why, and he doesn't know why, but this guy, he's kind of a man's man, right? And he could have come off the wrong way. He could have said something that wasn't pleasing to her, or he could have just the tone. Some people say it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right?
how you say it. Mm-hmm. He could definitely be a Trump follower and not a Democrat in this world as well. Just sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. If you show your politics in the office and that upsets someone, the business of a political debate, in my opinion, that's the wrong environment. There's other places for those, but. Back to that, and I think that's an exciting video. I'm looking forward to seeing this video.
We've got a real badass event coming up. But the first, I'm going to give you one thing, and then we'll run over to the video. So the first thing that I would do, guys, and the first thing that I advised this guy on was to just basically swallow your pride, right? You're a sales guy. You're in situations all the time where you have got to blend in, right? You've got to sell people on your ideas and your thoughts. Yep. You got to be chameleonic. And so my first instinct was to tell him to approach her and say, hey, listen, it's become apparent to me. I feel like there's something that I did that maybe I said something the wrong way. Maybe I did something the wrong way, but I just want to let you know, whatever it was that I did, I'm sorry. And I don't know if it would be possible or not, but would it be impossible for us to move forward, or maybe start fresh and maybe give each other a second chance, right? So just go in and be genuine with somebody and try to appeal to their sensibility. Does that make sense?
Sure. That reminded
So
me of a Chris Voss that we'll talk about labeling. It seems as if something's going on. Don't say, I know something's going on. It seems as if. But that reminded me of Chris Voss when you said that.
well, that was Chris Voss, and then at the end we brought in another Chris Voss, which was going for the no, right? Or would it be
Exactly.
impossible? You know, would you be opposed to us giving another go at seeing whether or not we can have a real great business relationship together? So
Exactly.
that's 100% Black Swan Group and Chris Voss. I love his stuff, and it's so effective and so easy for people to answer. Why is that? Why is it easier to answer a no question than a yes question, Don?
We feel safe with a no because when we say yes, we feel like we just committed something. It's on cards. And when I say yes, I show you one of my cards. I don't want to show you all of them, but every time I say yes, I show you a card. Well, we want to keep our cards close to our chest, right? That's the saying. So no's are easier to say, and we're quicker to say a no because we feel safe. So would it be ridiculous? Would it be crazy? Would it be outrageous? Would I be stepping over the line? To blah, blah, blah. To, talk this through, discuss this, or go to lunch together. You just never know what the situation. Once you get them, find the rest of this, the information that you really need. Can you say more about that? That is magic.
Yeah. When they do start opening up, can you say more about that and just listen? Because if you listen to somebody, they will tell you exactly how to close them, right? And then the other thing I was thinking about, Don, as you were talking, was it's because you said it's so much easier to say no, and we don't have to spend as much time thinking to say no. That also reduces something called decision fatigue. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this or not, but when you have to answer yes or no to something, getting to that yes requires some work in your brain sometimes, right? Some reasoning, some deciding, if you will. And when you say no, it's just a lot easier if somebody gives you that opportunity, reduces decision fatigue, makes the next decisions that you're going to make a little bit easier and a little less exhausting. And that being said, we discuss all of this kind of stuff, the mindset stuff. It's not just sales, but it's mindset, it's psychology at our Ultimate Lead Ninja Sales Mastermind. And we hold that at Grand Hollow. Well, sometimes we hold it at another mansion, but this one is about 16,000 square feet. It's called the Grand Hollow Mansion, and we're going to be there January 24th through 28th. Check it out right now. Here's a video.
I'm Jonah Gorlitz. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I've been doing HVAC for about 1.5, 2 years now, and I work for Instant Air out of Shepherdsville, Kentucky.
Hi, I'm Kim Kay. I work with Leads Nearby, and I've been working with Leads Nearby for over 8 years, and we work with HVAC, electrical, and plumbing contractors.
So my name is Chris Laurentino from Comfort Specialists. We're out of Morris County, New Jersey, and I've been in the industry about 17 years now. I joined the mastermind because it's not just a sales course. Actually, it's not really a sales course at all.
So the reason I joined the mastermind is I've seen some people's results online that
This is different from other events that I've been to. I've been to various contest events for quite a few years now.
It's really taught me how to understand and communicate to the customer well. It's actually my second mansion trip.
from the community of how well some people have done, and I really wanted to be a part of that.
This one is the best space. It's the most glamorous space. And it's basically one training that builds upon each other.
Share in that success, and it felt that the best way to achieve that was to actually get here and get involved in the training. And frankly, in my mind, there's no better way to train than in person.
Since I've been in the class since December, my income has improved, my revenue for the company has improved, my customer relations have improved, and my call volume has decreased while the profits and everything else has increased.
Being here is a unique experience that you can't replicate in just a Zoom class. There's so much more that you get out of this.
I mean, other events I've been to, it's a lot of information on a lot of topics, where this is very concentrated. I feel like it allows you to have more focus.
Man, I love that space. It's such a good place for us to hang out with people. Guys, and this is a select audience that ends up getting to come to these. We limit the seats. This is not a situation where you go to a hotel and you sleep at a hotel. This is a situation where we all stay together. We work in the classroom from 9 to 6. And after that, we all have dinner together. We hang out. We might hang out in the pool. Don will probably be pulling people aside and testing them on some of the scripting or the word tracks or the language patterns. Don really geeks out on that stuff. So, and guys, listen, if you're not already making $500,000 a year, you really have got to come to this event. If you're selling $1 million a year, listen, God love you. That's 25, 30 years ago that was a big deal. The 3 to 4 million is the new million. If you're a halfway competent salesperson today with any amount of training, you should be doing $3+ million a year. Am I wrong, Don?
Yes, that was the standard. I had several guys that were in that range. 2.5 to 3.5 range was our side. 1.5 used to be. It's just not. It's not there anymore. There's 22-year-olds that can sell just indoor air quality and get to 1.5, and if you're selling equipment, your number should be far in excess of that.
We have the gentleman we're actually talking about, believe it or not, that we were talking about before the break. He came to us right around $2.5 million in sales. He came out to the mansion in June, and he'll do 3.8 this year now, even with this challenge that he's having with the CSR getting him on a decent call, right? So let's get back to that conversation. But before we do, if you're watching this live, will you please just type live down in the comments? If you're watching it on a replay, please type replay in the comments. That's about all we ask for bringing you the nuggets that we're about to bring you that are actually going to make an impact on your life. And if you want more information about the class that we're talking about, if you're not making $500,000 a year or more, go ahead and type mansion down in the comments, and we'll get you some information about what it costs to come out and do that and what it looks like. Bottom line is you're going to be staying with Don, myself, Brittany, in a big and beautiful house. All of your meals are going to be covered. Your lodging is going to be covered, and it's going to be something that you will never forget for the rest of your life. So thank you for the lives and the replays down in the comments, and hit mansion if you want to talk more about that. So Don, we were talking. Yeah, Kim, you were definitely in that intro. You did a great job. So Don, the first thing we said was try to just get on a relatable basis with somebody. Apologize. Say, I'm sorry that we got off on the wrong foot. I'm sure that it's something that I did. And I just want to, come to you and see whether or not, would it be impossible? Would you be opposed to us giving it another shot? And even sharing with me what it was that I did wrong so that I don't do that again. Right?
Right. And a couple of levels here. If you're the business owner, general manager above the CSR, typically the problem boils down to a lack of a system, right? They're dealing it out based on how they feel, not based on a system, a score, a a reason. And, so I was always big on asking what made you decide to do it that way? What went into that decision? I never chastise people for a decision, wrong decision, so to speak, because we're making decisions all day long. I'm just happy if people make a decision, because in this business, we want to come and ask you every question. Do we buy the number twos, or do we buy the mechanical pencils? We buy pencils. You just make a decision. Let's move on. So,
Yeah.
so you happy with the decision? But I would say, well, what was the reason behind? Okay. Now, if I agreed or disagreed, then it was a matter of saying, here's how I saw the situation, and it would become a discussion. And again, we're in sales. Sometimes we have to sell our employees, we have to sell our CSRs, we have to sell our managers, wherever you are, and sell them on this whole process as well. So
Selling them on
remember,
following a process, right?
yeah, selling them on
Okay.
following the process, and why it should be that way, and you're going to want to get it done this way, and this is how we do things here. Those kind of phrases. But we have external customers. His problem here is he's a great salesman for external customers. He might not be the greatest salesman for his internal customer, his coworkers, the managers, the CSRs, and it makes a difference. Think of those as sales, and walk through the process. And we love it, Lead Ninja Mastermind. Get them to come to their own conclusion. No one cares what your opinion is. They only care what their own opinion is, right?
Yep.
So get them to come to their own conclusion about something. So as a manager, as an owner, this problem is a system more than it is anything else, okay? And we fix it with a system. Here's the score. Here's how we rank. Here's how people. Sometimes the answer is not what the comfort advisor wants to hear. The best connection best thing for the customer company may not be the best thing for the comfort advisor, and that's where a different conversation comes along. This person wanted, we don't know the story, but let's say this person wanted mini splits, and you suck at mini split conversations, right?
Yeah.
This person asked for air quality, and you hadn't sold a Breathe Easy in 6 months. Well, I'm probably not sending you on this call. I will send you across town, across the world, if that's what it takes, to get the right person on the right call. So
That's right.
there's some internal customers that you have to let them know that you provide for those items. One way to do it is be talking about it on every call. Every call has the conversation of indoor air quality, comfort, variable speed compressors. Everything is in the conversation, even when the customer just says, I just want just a basic system. It's okay for them to buy the basic system. It's not okay for you to just give up and only give them that option. That's part of internal sales. So
Sure.
systems are one of the issues. If you need some information on that, our class tomorrow, midday, 1:00 Eastern time, our Profit Coach Mastermind, that's where owners, general managers get together and can have those discussions. Find out what other people's doing, find out what I did, find out what Gene did, find out what other people are doing, and then take them back to your company. It's a whole lot easier just to implement and successful for other people than it is to invent it all over again. So that's my plug for tomorrow class that we run. If you want more information about it, Profit Coach Mastermind, PCM, whatever, you just put that in the comments and someone will get you the link to get over to
Put
that
profit.
or to have this.
Put profit down in the comments. I love that word.
Yes, love that. Profit forecasting is one of the most fun words that you can say as a manager owner in this business. I'm going to forecast my profits for next year. Oh, budget sucks. Oh my God, I can't. You'll never get me into a budget. This is a profit forecast meeting. I'll be there early for whatever reason. It's funny. It changes the perception. So internal sales, internal customers.
Let's go ahead and get back to some of the the advice that we were giving this gentleman this morning. So the first one was to go up and just apologize, straight up apologize. Don't expect an apology back from anybody. All right, just let's try to handle the situation. This is better than going to the manager, okay? Because now you're just creating all kinds of other chaos and fires that have got to be put out, and different feelings and opinions. And it's just so much better to handle it one-on-one if you can, right?
Right.
Second thing that I shared with him was to gift her. Now, I had a guy named Steven Spiegel, and we worked at a company together in Tampa. And one of the things Steve used to do is make friends with the girls. And he would do that by gifting them stuff. He'd get them a $10 Starbucks gift certificate, or he'd bring in a couple of bottles of wine or something like that from Oregon, and he would hand it out to a couple of the girls. And they ended up really liking them. And funny thing, Steve got good calls. I'm not going to say he got all the best calls, but Steve got good calls. And they took care of Steve. All right. So listen, if a dispatcher or a CSR sets you up on a sale and you make it, why not just toss them a bone? All right. That job, if you've never done it, is a very hard job. Okay. You think you deal with shit? They deal with shit on a much higher level, like from a quantity perspective.
There you go. Volume of complaints, or you might deal with intense complaints, but they deal with volume. The next time the phone rings, they don't know if it's going to be just a normal call or an ass chewing. And they get tense every time they have to do it.
Yeah. Your butthole puckers up every time you pick up the phone. What am I going to experience? Yeah. So yes. That was another thing. And then look, here's a third thing that we shared with him. Look, if this is a situation that you can't get past and you're not looking to leave the company, how about you find your own leads? And this is going to kind of tie into what the other thing we wanted to talk about, Don, which was when there's a problem in a company, have you ever considered just fixing it? Like we were talking to a company this morning I had 2 comfort advisors on, right? And they were complaining about the quality of the turnovers, and they've been complaining to management about it, and nobody's doing anything about it. And I was like, why don't you just effing fix it? And they're like,
fix it? Yeah. I'm
like, yeah, why don't you just fix it? Why don't you just do something about it? What do I mean, Don?
Well, get involved with them. Help start with the training. If you're going to go discuss this, we see this a lot. I'm going to discuss this. That's usually meant I'm going to complain about that other person. Don't do that. But if you got to discuss it, this was always from my father. You got to go with 3 solutions to the problem, and one of those 3 costs nothing, right? So one of those 3. Guess what they're going to pick? They're going to pick the one that costs nothing, and you have to scratch your head a little bit harder to sometimes find a solution that absolutely costs nothing, right? No out of pocket, no cash flow. Maybe it costs a little sweat equity, as they call it. Somebody puts a little more effort in, but go with 3 is. And the reason for 3 is it makes you think at a little deeper level. Most of the time, the first level is throw money at a problem in a business. That's usually the first one. I'll buy something, hire somebody, do something that ends up costing.
Because it seems money. Easy, but it's not.
Yes. So second solution may very well, go in a different direction, send someone to a class. That may still cost some money. And the third one may very well be, I'll just sit down next to that person for my spare time today, tomorrow, the rest of the week, and just help with the phones. I sat in my dispatch for an hour or 2 every day, and early on, 15 years ago, probably more like 10 years ago, I sat in dispatch all day long. I was part of the dispatch team when it was early on, because it was part of a person on the right call situation for me. So being there and do their job for them. It's hard for you to give true, good, constructive criticism when you have never done their job before. So just ask to sit down next to you and learn a little bit about their job. Learn a little. You'll make good friends that way.
So this company didn't have a process written out that it teaches for turning over or handing off leads from a technician to a comfort advisor, and nobody's putting it in place. And we're talking about a company that's a $20 million company at least, right? So that should be in place. Why not just do it? I was like, have either of you guys ever been a turnover tech? And the one guy's like, yeah, I've been one. I was like, when you did turn things over, how did things typically go? And he was like, they went great. I was one of the best turnover techs that there was here. And now we can't get anybody to do it. And I'm like, well, how about you teach them, right? Stop asking management to do it. Just to do it, because it's having an impact on your attitude, the company culture, and your money, right? So what's the big deal? And if you're going to ever aspire to own your own company, do you want to practice on your company? Or would it be better to practice inside of somebody else's company where if you F up, it doesn't cost you $100,000 or $1 million, right?
Exactly. Well, and in this conversation, there's two things fighting against each other. From a point, I want the lead quality to be through the roof. Most comfort advisors want the call qualified. They want the credit already to be approved. They want the customer to have said, "I only want the high end stuff." They want all of those kind of through the roof. Well, when your quality goes through the roof, the quantity goes through the floor, right? So you've got to kind of get that balance that you want, that your company wants, and as an owner, you set it for your organization more than you let your people set it. I had the philosophy that quantity was the most important. High call volume was first priority. Once we had more than we could handle, then we could bring quality in. But until every comfort advisor is on a call, there's no point qualifying it or even qualifying it at all.
That's a good point.
I wanted my guys to price condition, and I wanted them to price condition a good way, so that just didn't say, how much the new one costs. Well, you probably can get a new one for $5,000-$6,000. It made it difficult to then start at the top when the person had 5-6. A good price conditioning. We've had customers spend as much as $25,000 for the top of the line with all the bells and whistles and the duct work and the indoor air quality. Spend as little as 5 or 6, but the majority end up somewhere around $10,000 to $12,000. Let's find out for you. And so get away from the conversation. Let's find out, or let me call and I'll find out. Something that ends that. That's all I wanted my guys to do was price condition, so that it gave them the ability options. Inverter at 18 or 20 SEER, 14.3 at the bottom, and a 16 to 17 in the middle, depending on the variation that we're doing at the time. So that was the big part of it. Quantity first. Quality was my philosophy. Every business gets to decide. That. It's your business. You can decide it. But until you've got more than you can handle, why would you want to qualify everybody out of your funnel so you can keep a good looking, closing ratio? But if you're only getting 3 leads a month or 4 leads, that's not going to lead you to a phenomenal year, a career.
Man, well said. I mean, and it reminds me that our processes have got to have, I don't want to say flex in them, but it's a different story if I've got 5 people a day that want to see each of my comfort advisors versus 2, right? If I've got 5 people, I might be a little bit more picky and I might cherry pick a little bit more. But that being said, a real professional salesperson can go out to just about any lead and make something happen, period.
Right.
So you guys need to stop blaming the leads and start taking accountability for the fact that you're just not as good at sales as you think. Don?
Bring in more leads. Let's go back. Let's say we're the comfort advisor. We're talking a lot about manager. But back to the comfort advisor. Figure a way to run your own schedule. Book your own leads.
Yeah.
Market
So
for
getting back to the
yourself.
CSR thing, you're saying, getting
Yeah.
back to the CSR
Yes.
and the 22-year-old conflict thing, if those
Right.
things don't work, this is the next thing you do.
If you're the comfort advisor and you can't higher level stuff, you can only fix internal. Well, one thing about it is every time you call up and said, hey, I just had Mrs. Smith, that's a neighbor to somebody I put a system in, we put a system in a year ago, 6 months ago, called me up and needs something. Can I run on over there? Most likely they're going to say, heck yeah, go on over there. Leads anyway, right? So if you become your own marketing division of your company and you market yourself, obviously you're Gene, you're one of the best I've seen at the Facebook. Go live every day for something, everything you run into, put information out there and people will be attracted to you. Second for me is I like to promote referrals. I know you probably can't think of anybody right now that needs blah 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 our services, but if you ever do run across someone who's looking for our services, just ask them, give me a call. Clients don't really know that we accept referrals. I don't know, they're busy. I don't know if I could give you their name. They'd be embarrassed a little bit. You got to let them know. We would appreciate if they just said nice things about and send their friends, family, brother, sister, aunts, uncles to us. So promote referrals. If that leads into collecting information, I'm okay with that. If you feel comfortable with, they say, well, my mother has this issue. Oh, okay. Would you mind giving her a call and just let her know to give me a call, and I'll be glad to see what I can do for them to call you. That's called promoting referrals more than asking for referrals. It's in the same category, but it's not quite. Give me 10 names, and I'm going to start annoying your friends.
I'm going to
So,
start calling him here while I'm at the table with you.
yeah,
I've seen that. Man, it used to be rough back in the day, didn't it?
I sold life insurance early on, so you had to generate your own leads quite a bit there, and it was kind of a little bit, nobody wanted to talk to you about life insurance, so it makes this business look real referral.
So there's two more things like on that note, Don. Like I want you salespeople out there and owner. Actually, this is really a question for owners. Do your salespeople do a great job following up? That's what I would like to know. Do they do a great job following up? Or do you think that they're leaving money on the table? All right. Amen. Thanks, Craig. So that's one thing that if I was this guy and I didn't want to rely on somebody else feeding me leads, I would get my own leads. I actually know somebody who one day they were walking through a shop and they saw that there were these carbon copies being discarded. Now, this is back in the day, right? And they're like, what's going on with the carbon copies? They're like, well, those are just extras and we don't need them. They're from the service tickets. And he started picking them up and looking at them. And they were all repairs. And a lot of them were systems that were 10, 15, 20 years old. And he decided to start doing follow-ups on those deals and find out why they didn't buy a new system. And next thing you know, he's selling them left and right and left and right. He went to the boss and he's like, listen, I just want you to know, I don't want any more leads. And the boss is like, what are you talking about? You quitting? He was like, no, I'm just going to get my own leads. I don't want your leads. I want my leads. Right. And so that was what he started to do. And he ended up becoming the best salesperson in the country. Just doing that. So guys, if you're out there and you feel like somebody else is in control of your destiny, how about you just start following up on all the stuff that people are leaving on the table for you? There are very few professional salespeople out there, that will get all of the stuff while they're there. So there's a gold mine in following up on the people who did not buy the systems that were quoted because nobody else is going to follow up on them. And then going through the service tickets and finding, cherry picking the older systems, and then going and doing a quality control inspection for the repair. Go open the system up. Make sure that if we did a tune-up for them, that the leaves got out of the bottom of the system. And then while you're there, you can have a conversation with them. They spent $1,100 on a repair. You can just ask them, Mr. Johnson, when the technician was here and he gave you the option to repair versus replace it, would you mind sharing with me why you chose not to replace the system? Well, he didn't even go over that with me. Mr. Johnson, it's his job to go over that with you. I swear he didn't. Right? Well, it's not like you would have just bought a system if he had shared it with you.
If you had.
Right? Right? Well, I don't know. How much is it? Next thing you know, we're having a conversation. Right? So this is literally what this guy did. So this is a massive opportunity.
Most people, when they start looking at the past service tickets, the first thing that go to the mind is, look at all the overs that should have happened. Oh my God, they should have all over their coworkers. But instead of looking at it that way, just run with it. Every time someone punts an awesome turnover opportunity, if you're the guy doing the follow-up, you just got it. So it's okay. You actually giggle and smile every time. Every time they don't train or don't teach how to do a great turnover, you're like, I'll just do the follow-ups and I'll get them. And they'll fall to me because I'm in charge of following up. So be good at following up. And most companies don't have a great process for this anyway. So here's that one. I'll just follow up these for you, and I won't charge you anything to do it. I'll just follow up on all the past calls. If I get things out of it, great. If I find an issue, I'll report it back and we'll get it resolved so that we have happy customers. But I'll follow up for you. I mean, I don't even have to pay you hourly to do it. I'll just do it because it's going to produce sales for most comfort advisors.
And who just got control of their life?
Yeah. You can decide I'm going home at 6 o'clock every night because you're going to control you're going to decide, if I'm going to stay out, then I'm fighting for myself if I'm going to stay out, not the office or the customer saying, I want you here at 6 o'clock. You've had a conversation with them already. They may still need that, but at least you had some input into that going at 6 o'clock. So, we've got a lot of these discussions. We talk about, this started in our Lead Ninja Mastermind class this morning. We discuss it in our Profit Coach class each Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Which is for owners.
For owners. And then, of course, we have that 2-3 day in Florida at Mansion. If you've got cold weather, if you've got not the best weather, and you'd like to be in Florida sometime in January, what's the dates again? 26th or so?
It's the 24th through the 28th. So you guys will check in at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. That's the 24th of January. And then you'll check out before 10 a.m. on the 28th, which is a Sunday. What are you reading? Any invoices of extra?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, while you're reading that, I was like, if you gave me a $20-25 million company, Don, based on what we've taught people on how to follow up, there's no question in my mind that I could work from 8 until 12. I could be done by noon, and I could sell $500,000 to $1 million a month just off of their follow-ups. So if you guys are out there and you're a business owner and you need somebody to be an inside salesperson for you and follow up on all those deals, and you want to add another $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a month to your revenues, you want to send somebody down to me January 24th through the 28th, or send me 2 people and watch what we can do with your company, just having somebody inside following up. You don't have to have a truck running all around, going all these different houses. You just need a butt and a seat with a telephone and a computer, and I can show you how to do this. It's not hard. It's going to take something, but it's not hard. It's actually pretty simple. Don?
Yeah, it's the class, and once we learn the material in the classroom, we like to kind of socialize and sit around and role play those items, because it's one thing to hear how to do it, it's another thing to have to say it. And that's what we do a lot different, is I'm sitting there trying to say, now say that line again. Okay, now emphasize versus the word you were emphasizing.
Emphasize this word, right? Yep.
And then as you develop, by the time you leave, I want you to have phrases and the whole script, but certainly some phrases that you're ready to implement the first day, the first minute you're out on. Training does not have to take 6 months before you're ready to actually use it. It might need to take 6 hours, but we were there for 4 days. You have that. You can put in the time it takes to memorize these things and be ready to go back and make a difference in your life. So the Mansion Mastermind or the Profit Coach, if you want some information on that, put that in the comments below.
Yeah, we literally every single event we have people that go back and immediately triple their revenue and sales. Like that, like done. Most of my people get their money back for the event within the first 2 to 4 weeks, like an additional net profit. So if you're thinking it's expensive, I can't think of anything cheaper that gets you your money back that fast, and then you get to continue to move on. And by the way, if you're an owner and you send people to me, I'm actually going to work to enroll those technicians in paying for their own continuing education to save you money and to give them skin in the game, because if they pay, they will pay attention. All right. So this is something that we started doing a few years ago, and I stopped asking owners for money for the continuing education. I'm like, that your boss put up money to bring you out here, and like, what's it gonna say if you're not willing to invest in yourself, but your boss is? Like, does that work in any world? And we do mindset stuff. There's a lot of stuff that ends up happening there that is way above and beyond what you would ever expect from a sales class. Like, we are very skilled at listening to people and listening for the things that are holding them back, where the breakdowns are at, so we can create a possibility of a breakthrough for people.
Right. And if you're a skeptic, come prove us wrong. Gene, you talk about your money back guarantee. Come, and if it's not valuable to it, you'll get you follow the process. You document that you did it for 30 days. Or you tell me it's the money back guarantee. So if you're a skeptic out there and you really want to, come down and prove it. I'm okay with that. Come down, learn all the material, and then go out and prove that it doesn't work, and you'll get your money back. You just have to follow the process, and you have to document it. If you want to follow through the process and learn a good bit, it's going to be virtually impossible for you. But if you do, if you don't happen to improve, take us up on our money back guarantee.
Yeah, let me just explain that. There's 2 different money back guarantees. The one for the events, if you come out to the mansion, what I have always said is, if after the first day you have attended through the entire session, right? If after the first day you don't feel like you've already got your money's worth, you can leave and I'll just give you your money back. So no problem. We'll still be friends. All right. Never have I ever had that happen, but that's my guarantee. All right. Secondly, and by the way, that means I should at least triple deliver, right? I got 2 more days left after that, Don. Like, if after the first day they don't feel like it's been worth it already. The mastermind that Don's talking about, there is a 30-day action-based money-back guarantee, and there are a couple of things you have to do. Like, you have to participate, you have to watch videos, you have to attend the training sessions, you've got to use a sales tracker, maybe 1 or 2 other things that you have to do. But look, I can lead you to water. I'm just not going to pry your mouth open and shove the water down your throat, right? You've got to participate. There's got to be some action on your part. I can't do the heavy lifting for you. I can show you the path, but I can't walk that some gun again, right? Mm-hmm. So as long as you do the things that are in writing, if 30 days later you feel like, this is bullshit, this is not worth it, this is a scam, we'll give you your money back, and it's in writing. So we're the only people that put our money where our mouth is like that. So, Don, is there anything you want to wrap up with, man, before we let these people go? Please type live in the comments if this is live, and replay if it's a replay. That's all I want to say. Don?
All right. Bye. See you guys at
I'm sorry, man.
these later
I
classes.
ran over you. I don't know if it's a delay.
So. Yeah. See you guys later. We'll see you at these other classes. Bye.
Love you guys. See ya.